Hello there everybody and welcome back to Sunshine Islands. It is the 28th day of fall, which brings us right to our final crop festival for this year. So I'm lucky that I made my save before I went to bed, because if I had saved in the morning and come outside, I wouldn't have been able to participate in this festival at all, because I had 2 or 3 days straight of rain, which resulted in a lot of water points that were completely out of my control. So I managed to pick all of the spinach that I had left last night. And so we do have some spinach to submit to Felicia. And unfortunately the rain has killed my yams. Yams are incredibly sensitive to water, but I'm not really all that worried because that would have been my last batch of yams anyways, and it's taken all month really for those things to die, so I've gotten a lot from them. And I am hoping that I can maybe get one more yield of eggplants and bell peppers here before I have to cut everything down and prepare for winter. And throughout the winter, I'm going to be focusing on my greenhouse, of course. And what I did was I actually went and I planted a grain. I wanted to see if it were possible to grow grains in the greenhouse, because we know it's not possible to grow trees. They don't let you grow trees in here. But as long as you have the right month set, it does appear that you're able to grow grains in here. So you could grow wheat, you could grow buckwheat, and in my case, I've gone ahead and I've put some soybeans in here. I kind of missed out on growing soybeans because I unlocked them really late in the year. You can only grow them in summer and fall, and I knew that they would die if I planted them. There was really no point in doing so. So I hadn't had a chance to grow these at all. So I've planted these. I've put in all 3 suns into my sun boxes here, but I am gonna revert back to 2 in order to grow these. And they're gonna take quite a while. I probably won't get these until, I would say, the middle of spring. So it's gonna be a long waiting game to actually get anything out of here, but I figured that that was probably the best thing for me to do if I want to take advantage of these, because if I'm waiting for the right season, I now have to wait until summer to grow these outside. So just trying to get a head start there. I haven't played ahead, actually, truthfully, so I don't know what wonderful I'm gonna win from this festival. I hope whatever it is, it's good. I'm gonna go check out Animal Island, I guess. I've just been going ahead and getting fish. Apparently I forgot to ask for help yesterday, and I don't have a fish to give the animals. Okay, well, I guess that means I can ask the monkeys for some help, since it's the only thing I have in my rucksack right now, and I don't feel like coming back. I haven't really been asking the monkeys for help though, because mostly what I ask them for is golden lumber, and I can make it myself pretty much with no difficulties now. It's pretty consistent that I'll be able to successfully make it. And I also don't really need much golden lumber anymore. I'm kind of at a point now where all of my trees are protected. So in my inventory, you can see that I have 17 pieces of spinach left over, all A quality. I put what I wanted to put inside my refrigerator, I only need one piece, and then the remaining pieces are going to go into my shipping bin. I guess I should actually go and ship some stuff, so I'll have some money for today before I head over to Meadow Island. You might have also noticed that my bag is completely full of food, and the reason for that is because I've been taking advantage of the fact that I now have access to flour, and I've just been going through and cooking all of the recipes that I haven't been able to cook because flour has been so scarce. But that's no longer a problem. I put 99 pieces of flour inside of my fridge after I managed to get myself some wheat. And then I'll just ship these for some money, and then it'll also, I guess, look kind of fun to shipping some of these things. If it gets counted in my total shipped items, which I think it does, yeah, it does here on the shipping log, you can actually see how much you've shipped of each item. So I've been trying just to make kind of one of each item and then ship it if I can. Obviously there's some exceptions, or there'll be some items that are incredibly rare or really expensive that I wouldn't want to part with. But as you can see, I've been pretty busy with my cooking. I also have the ability to ship anything that Witch Princess makes me as well. I do usually end up shipping what she makes me and then just making something else sort of cheaper to feed myself if I need to. So a lot of holes here, and I'm not going for 100%. It's not a goal of mine to complete this by any means, but it is just something that I've been doing just for fun to kind of keep myself occupied. So let's go ahead and just go on over to the festival. And then I think I got talking about all the food and I didn't even ship the spinach, but okay, whatever, that's alright. I did ship some food, so maybe that will get me a little bit of money. And I will take my solitary piece that I singled out. I'll give it to Felicia, and we will see what kind of prize we're gonna win. I think that this will be our second to last wonderful of the entire year, so it better be good. Hopefully it's not completely underwhelming. Because in the wintertime, I do believe the only festival that we get a wonderful from is the mining festival. But if I want to, I can also go through the effort of trying to farm wonderfuls from Chen's shop. Although at this point in the game, I don't know that I'm going to spend the extra time doing that. So, not surprisingly, we won. And next spring's theme is cabbage, which is not good for us because we don't even have the ability to grow cabbage yet. And it's a blue wonderful. Hey, would you look at that? Continuing on our theme of blue and red for this year. Not horrible. I could probably slap a few of those on my watering can for the winter time, just to water more in my greenhouse at once. But I am also starting to run out of uses for those as well. You can only increase the range of a tool by so much before it doesn't really help anymore. How many of those do I have, by the way? I must have quite a surplus now at this point. I do, I've got 3, which actually is not as many as I thought. I've got 3 of each. I've got 3 blues and I have 3 reds. I do know that I used a few of those on some of my tools. So hopefully now we can get some different colors. I could also equip the Indigo Wonderful in one of my tools if the Wonderful slots are all used up, and I could increase the range even further. It would actually probably be the most useful in my hoe, to be honest, because it's nice just to till a whole bunch of land all at once, especially on the farm, because if squares are tilled, there's less of a chance of weeds and branches and stones showing up as often. Obviously, that is not a concern for me in the wintertime, but that's probably what I'm going to end up doing now that I think about it. I might go ahead and put in the indigo and then put in some more blues and reds and just make some use out of that for springtime. So other than just playing on from when we last recorded, which really wasn't that long ago, I think it was only on the 23rd, and doing some cooking and such, there hasn't really been a whole lot else to talk about that I haven't already mentioned in this video. I do have 2 small things that I suppose I can mention. The first is that I had completely kind of gone my entire day without triggering anything for my daughter's birthday on the 25th of fall. And I had been inside my house several times that day and nothing really happened. And it was quite late at night before I realized, oh my god, it's her birthday. Well, why don't I interact with her? So I interacted with her, and Witch Princess basically just said, hey, did you remember it's our daughter's birthday? I hope she keeps growing. And that was about it. So that was not something that was worth recording or really dwelling too much about. All we know is that I have to play the game for an entire year in order for her to grow up so that I can get my final sunstone, which is a bummer. You're dragging me down, kid. You're making my life a lot harder. But next year, when she's grown into a child, we'll probably have a regular birthday to sort of celebrate. And then if we go into my assets menu, the other thing that I have noticed is that some of my animals are getting to be quite old. Tifa, Rydia, and I do believe also some of my cows here, Vivi, are coming up on sort of their max lifespan. I think the chickens are well past that point. We got Tifa in our very first year, and I think she's pretty much lived past her expiry date. So at this point, at any time, I could wake up in the morning and Mirabelle will tell me that my animals are going to start dying of old age. So there are a few things that I can do in order to prevent this. The first thing is I can just sell the animals if I want to still get a decent amount of money for them and kind of get rid of them before they die. Or I could just keep reloading the previous day, going to bed, and hoping that Mirabelle doesn't come and let me know that the animal has passed. That is something that you can do. You can do this in Harvest Moon DS as well, but I think that only works for so long. I think there reaches a point where eventually it's kind of, there's no escape from that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an egg from either one of these chickens with 10 hearts, and I will put it in the incubator so that I can produce another chicken which will be born with a high heart level in order to be able to keep getting eggs. Because eggs have been really, really useful to me. I use them a lot in cooking, which I've kind of been interested in lately. And they're just a good thing to have just to make a little bit of extra cash, turn them into mayonnaise if I need them. I don't really know about my cow, if I'm being honest. I think with the cows, I'm not as worried because at least what we can do with the cows is we can just load one of our milkers with a bunch of Orange Wonderfuls. Right now, currently, I have it so that I'm getting 3 times the amount of milk. So even if one of my cows passes away, so say Vivi starts getting too old and we lose her in the winter season, I still have Shiva to produce milk, and I'll still get 3 bottles per day, even more if I put more Orange Wonderfuls into a tool. The issue with chickens is that there is really no other way to get eggs than just to feed them and pick one up every single day. It isn't like the milker or the clippers where we can manipulate the amount of product we're getting with the Wonderfuls. Unfortunately, with chickens, we just have to rely on 1 egg per day. So if I lose 2 chickens, that will significantly impact the amount of eggs that I get per day. So I may end up doing that, getting myself 1 chicken if I'm at risk of losing the 2 of them. I don't think I need to replace both though. And then that will also make it so that hopefully by the time the chicken festival rolls around, we'll have a chicken that has enough affection to win in the competition. We do have Luna, who has a full 10 hearts as well that we can enter. And so I think I've got all my bases covered there. And that'll just be something to sort of keep an eye out on. We'll want to keep an eye out to see if I'm getting to a point where I'm not able to keep prolonging the life of my chickens. And if that's the case, then I will probably just sell them. And I think that's it. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to talk about. So I've got a few days left in fall. Come winter, I will do a small little update just to let everybody know how things are going for me. And that is it. So we are saying goodbye to fall, just tying things up in a nice little bow before we get moving right on into winter. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.